Hi guys, this is a Bay from a Bay Marketplace, and today I'm doing some betting on Pokemon Showdown using the Politoed team that I created in the last video. In this battle, our opponent has a Sun team using Groudon, but they also have a Tailwind setter in the lights of Whimsicott. Venusaur and Charizard are very good Sun abusers, and Vladimir also, and Incineroar is just there for support. So firstly, my leads are going to be Kyogre and Tornadus, and then Politoed, and then Oldropon. Here I just disconnected a little bit, so I had to reconnect, and then so the leads, it's going to be Kyogre and Tornadus, and then I will have Politoed and Oldropon in the back. This sets up rain, and if my opponent leads Groudon, I can swap in my Politoed for my Tornadus and set up rain, and then go for a water spot into the Groudon. So here, as you can see, my opponent doesn't need Groudon. They lead their Vladimir and their Whimsicott. Whimsicott is another Tailwind setter, and it also has Prankster, which allows its Tailwind to have +1 priority. So here I'm gonna go for Protect to start off for moves to see if my opponent's gonna swap in their Groudon, but I don't want to swap out my Tornadus, because if I allow him to get off a Tailwind, then I'm at the disadvantage, as his Pokemon will be faster than mine. So after the Protect, he also goes to a Protect on the Vladimir and a Tailwind with the Whimsicott. Then he goes for a Sunny Day using the Whimsicott, and I end up going for the Bleak Wind and a Water Spot. The Bleak Wind misses the Vladimir but brings the Whimsicott down to its sash. Then the Water Spot from Kyogre finishes it off. So now my opponent brings in their Venusaur, which probably has the ability Chlorophyll, which doubles its speed in the sun. This is very dangerous, as Venusaur is a grass type, which presses our Kyogre. So here I swap in my Politoed for the Tornadus to set up rain, and then allow Kyogre to go for a water spot in the rain. I'm just waiting here for my opponent to move. So Politoed comes in, sets up Drizzle. My opponent goes for a Dazzling Gleam, which doesn't do much damage, and then Water Spot finishes off the Vladimir and does quite a bit of damage into the Venusaur. For some reason, the Venusaur goes for attack into my Politoed instead of going for a Sludge Bomb into my Politoed, instead of going for a Giga Drain or any other grass type into my Kyogre. Unless they predicted that my Kyogre would swap in for my Oldropon, and then they could at least get off some damage into my Tornadus. So now they bring their Groudon to set up Sun. So therefore I Protect on both Pokemon. I just stepped here. So I Protect on both my Politoed and my Kyogre to start off for what they do. I see that they go for Precipice Blades, and they go for Giga Drain. Therefore here now I go for the I swap in my Kyogre I swap in my Oldropon for the Kyogre, and swap in my Tornadus for the Politoed. So it's a double swap. They go for Energy Ball into my Tornadus, and go for Precipice Blades, and which my Tornadus is immune to, and my Oldropon tanks that hit. So then I go for I disconnect here. Then I go for I'm gonna go for Ivy Cadre into the Groudon, as that should get the KO, and I go for the Tailwind with my Tornadus, so at least I can bring in my Kyogre and Politoed and be faster than my opponent's Pokemon. So yeah, I'm just thinking whether I should go double up, or here my opponent terrifies their Groudon and makes my Ivy Charger do little damage, and then the Sludge Bomb picks up the KO, and they both also KO their Tornadus with Heat Crash. So here now I set up Rain with Tailwind. So here I go for a Water Spout with Kyogre, and I go for Ice Beam with Politoed into the Venusaur. Now my Pokemon are faster than his because of the Tailwind, so I will move first unless he has a priority move, which I think both of his Pokemon don't yet. So my opponent goes for Protect into the Groudon, understandable. And then I go for the Water Spout, and then the Ice Beam picks up the tail, the Venusaur. So now it's a 2v1 in the rain, which my opponent's. So here I go for the Water Spout again, and then I just go for Ice Beam, and then my opponent surrenders. So that was a good game for this team. So this is another battle in which my opponent uses a balanced team with Calyrex, Shadow Rider, Chien-Pao, Rillaboom, Urshifu, Moondress, and Incineroar. This team is a very good balanced team and can do a lot of damage, but they don't have a weather setter, which means that I should have total control of the weather for the whole game. This battle, I think I'm gonna lead Kyogre and Tornadus again to do a lot of damage against my opponent and to also get up the Tailwind. So here my opponent brings in their Urshifu and their Chien-Pao, and I also have my Chaladon and Incineroar in the back. So they do have a Moondress for redirection, which means that if a Moondress can come in, they can redirect any of my non-double attacks. So in this position, I go for the Water Spout, and I go for the Tailwind to go faster. My opponent decides to Terra on the Chien-Pao, and then I get the Tailwind, and then but my opponent knocks out my Tornadus. So now my Kyogre is weak, and my Tornadus is knocked out. So then I bring my Chaladon in and use its Electro Shot into the Chien-Pao, into the Urshifu, and then use Water Spouts. But my opponent goes to the double Protect, and I just redo that attack, except that here I go for Origin Powers and Electro Shot into the Urshifu. The Urshifu ends up swapping out for Rillaboom, and they end up Sucker Punching my Kyogre and knocking it out. The Electro Shot doesn't do much, but does boost my special attack, but it doesn't do much damage to the Rillaboom. Here I go for the Fake Out with the Incineroar into the Rillaboom and go for the Electro Shot into the Chien-Pao. My opponent decides to swap in the Urshifu for the Chien-Pao and allow the Fake Out. This means that the Urshifu gets knocked out with my Electro Shot and makes them bring in the Chien-Pao again. So they bring in the Chien-Pao, get the Sword of Moon ability active. Now I go for the Flare Blitz from the Incineroar into the Rillaboom, and I go for the Dragon Pulse into the Chien-Pao. Yeah, I just disconnect again, so Pokemon Showdown servers do disconnect a lot. Here I go for the Flare Blitz into the Rillaboom, and I go for the Electro Shot into the Chien-Pao. My opponent goes for the Sacred Sword and the Wood Hammer, which ends up getting the KO on the Incineroar, leaving me just with my Chaladon. But I'm still in the range, so my Electro Shot boosts my special attack and KOs the Chien-Pao. Then he brings in the Calyrex and then the Rillaboom, and I'm thinking that he's gonna go for a Grassy Glide, so I end up going for a Dragon Pulse into the Rillaboom, as Electro Shot didn't do much damage. I'm thinking of Steel Terrain, but I don't end up doing it. So I go for the Dragon Pulse. He ends up going for the Protect. Wood Hammer doesn't do much damage and ends up boosting my defense. Dragon Pulse ends up knocking out the Rillaboom. Now a Dragon Pulse, I don't want to go for it. I want to go for the Flash Cannon into the Calyrex. He ends up going for a Nasty Plot, boosting his special attack, but ends up almost getting knocked out with my Flash Cannon. Now it comes down to if I can survive a hit with the +2 special attack. He goes for the Astral Barrage, and I live on 4% HP. And then I end up getting the KO with the Flash Cannon, winning me the game again.